Did you find any difficulty? Anyway, this week, you're going to study about adding or subtracting rational expression. In adding or subtracting rational expression with a common denominator is same with the process of adding or subtracting similar fraction. Just like this one. Let's say we have 1/2 plus 3/2. In adding similar fractions, we all know that we simply copy the common denominator, which is here 2, and we simply add the numerator. 1 plus 3 will give us 4. And then let's divide since the numerator is divisible by 2. 4 divided by 2 is simply 2. Then another, let's say we have 3/2 minus 1/2. Again, in subtracting similar fractions, we simply copy the common denominator, 2, and then subtract the numerator. 3 minus 1 will give us 2. And then 2 divided by 2 is simply 1. So this process is same with adding or subtracting rational expression with a common denominator. Without further ado, let's study this given example. Let's say we have add 2x over x plus 1 and 1 over x plus 1. So from the given example or the given expression, the denominator of these two expressions are both the same. They are both x plus 1. So again, in adding this expression, we simply copy the common denominator x plus 1 and then we add 2x plus 1. Alright, so our solutions we have here. Copy first 2x over x plus 1, then add 1 over x plus 1. Then, since our denominator are the same, we simply copy them, x plus 1. And then we add the numerator 2x plus 1. So we have here 2x plus 1. And then we have to see to it that our numerator is written in its simplest form. So now, is there a possible way that we can rewrite our numerator into its simplest form? No, it is because our numerator is already in its simplest form, am I right? So therefore, this is now the final answer. Simple as that. Another example. Let's say 4x squared over 2x plus 1 plus negative 1 over 2x plus 1. So now again, since our denominator are the same, we always copy the denominator, which is 2x plus 1. And then we simply add the numerator. 4x squared plus negative 1. When we combine the positive and negative, the result is always negative. So that is what we have negative 1. And then, observe, our numerator is in the form of the difference of the two squared. Am I right? Because the numerator, both terms are perfect square. So our first term, 4x squared, is a perfect square number, as well as our 1 is also a perfect square number. So therefore, we can factor our numerator by using the difference of the two squared. So we have here. In getting the factor for the binomial by using the difference of the two squared, we simply square root the first term and square root the last term. So here, the square root of 4x squared is simply 2x. We have here also 2x. Then the square root of 1 is simply 1. And then we see to it that the factor is in the sum and the difference. So we have here plus and we have here minus. Then we simply copy the denominator 2x plus 1. And then, if there is a third in the numerator which is equal to the denominator, we have to cancel that 1. So this one, we have 2x plus 1, which is equal to our denominator, 2x plus 1. So we have to cancel this 1. The remaining is simply 2x minus 1. Then, automatically, this is our final answer. I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say 8x over 2x plus 5 minus 6x minus 5 over 2x plus 5. Now, in this case, we are dealing with subtraction since our operation is minus. Then, if you remember the rules in subtracting integers, we always have to change the sign of the subtrahend and proceed to addition. So, from this example, our subtrahend is this one, these terms. So, we have to change the sign. This one will become now negative, and the minus will become now plus. And then, after changing the sign of the subtrahend, we proceed to addition. So, that means the minus sign, we have to change it into plus sign. So, now we are dealing with addition. So, in adding with the same denominator, we simply copy again the common denominator 2x plus 5. And then we simply add the numerator. So copy 8x, then plus negative 6x. Again, if we combine the positive and the negative sign, the result is always negative. So copy 6x plus 5. And now if you observe, our numerator still has a like terms. So when we see like terms, those are the terms with the same variable and the same exponent. So we have here 8x minus 6x. These two terms are like terms since their variable are the same and the exponent is also the same. So we can combine. If we're going to combine, we are just dealing with the coefficients. So we have here 8 and 6. So we have to combine this one. 8 minus 6 will give us 2. Then copy the common variable x. Then just copy the constant positive 5. Then over, copy the denominator 2x plus 5. Then, if you observe our numerator is equal to the denominator, that means this is equal to 1. Am I right? In dividing a number with itself, the quotient is always 1. I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say 3x over 9x squared minus 1 minus 1 over 9x squared minus 1. Again, we are dealing with subtraction since our operation is minus. Then, don't forget, if we are dealing with subtraction, we always have to change the sign of the subtrahend and we proceed to addition. So, this positive 1 will change it into negative and then our minus will change it into plus sign. So now, our denominator are the same, so we have to copy them. 9x squared minus 1. And then we simply add the numerator. So copy 3x. Then plus negative 1. Again, if we combine the plus and the negative, the result is always negative. So copy 1. Then, observe. Our denominator is in the form of the difference of 2 squared. Am I right? The given binomial, the terms are both perfect square. The first term, 9x squared, is a perfect square number. And also our 1 is a perfect square number. So therefore, we can factor our denominator by using the difference of the 2 squared. So we simply copy our numerator, 3x minus 1, and then we have to factor our denominator. So we have here. Now, in getting the factor by using the difference of the 2 squared, we simply get the square root of the first term and the square root of the last term. So the square root of 9x squared is simply 3x. And then, the square root of 1 is simply 1. And then, our factor must be in the sum and the difference. So we have here plus and we have here minus. So, now, Our 3x minus 1 is equal to the 1 factor of our denominator, which is 3x minus 1. So we have to cancel this 1. So our final answer is simply 1. Since there is no terms in the numerator, automatically that it has 1. So the remaining denominator, 3x plus 1. This is our final answer. I hope this is clear. Now let's come to adding or subtracting rational expression with a different denominator. In adding or subtracting rational expression with a different denominator is the same with the process of adding or subtracting the similar fraction. Just like this one. Let's say we have 1/4 plus 1/2. In order to add this 1, we have to use the LCD. That means we have to get the less common denominator of this 4 and 2. Then we use it in order to combine these two fractions. Now, in getting the LCD, we are only referring with this denominator, which is 4 and 2. So, in order to find the LCD, we have to use the LCM, which is the less common multiple. So, when we say multiple, we are adding number by itself. So, when we have 4, we start with itself, 4. Then we add by itself, 4 plus 4 is 8. Plus 4, 12. Plus 4, 16. Plus 4, 20. So on and so forth. How about 2? Again, start with itself, 2. Then add by itself, 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. Plus 2 is 6. Plus 2 is 8. Plus 2 is 10. So on and so forth. That is the way in getting the LCM. And then, our target is the less common multiple. So now, from the multiples of 4 and 2, what number is the first common? When we say common, the same. So, what is the first the same number from the multiple of 4 and 2? That is 4. Very good. 4 is the first common multiple of 4 and 2. Am I right? So therefore, 4 is our LCD. Then, we simply, by using this LCD, we divide this LCD to the denominator. Then, the quotient, we multiply it to the numerator. Again, we divide the LCD to the denominator. We have here division. And then the quotient, we multiply it to the numerator. That's why we have here times. So, we have here now, 4 divided by 4 is 1. Times 1 is simply 1. Then copy the operation. We have here plus. Then, 4 divided by 2 is 2. Times 1 is simply 2. Then, copy the denominator 4 and add the numerator. 1 plus 2 is 3. So now, is there a common factor between 3 and 4? None. So therefore, this is our answer. 3/4. So this process is same with the process in adding or subtracting rational expression with different denominator. Without further ado, let's study this given example. Let's say we have 1/3x plus 2/x squared. Now, if you observe, our denominator are not the same. So that means in order to combine these two fractions or these two rational expressions, we have to get first the LCD of the denominator 3x and x squared. And in order to get the LCD, we have to factor the denominator. So we have here 3x And we have here x squared. What is the factor of 3x? Simply 3 times x. Am I right? Then, the factor of x is simply x times x. Then, we bring down all the factors. I have here, bring down this 3, bring down this x, and bring down this x. Then, we multiply all the factors. 3 times x is 3x squared. So therefore, our LCD is 3x squared. So we have here 3x squared. And then, we have to divide this LCD to the denominator. We have here divide. And then the quotient, we multiply it to the numerator. So 3x squared divided by 3x. We have here 3x squared divided by 3x. Our 3x squared is this one, and our 3x is this one. So meaning we divide this one. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. This one. 3 divided by 3 is 1. Then, x squared divided by x is simply copy the variable x and subtract the exponent. So, 2 minus 1, we have here 1. So 2 minus 1 will give us 1. We have here 1, and imaginary 1. Then we multiply 1 times x is simply x. So therefore, if we divide 3x squared by 3x, the quotient is simply x. Then we have to multiply this x by the numerator 1. So x times 1 is simply x. And copy the operation plus. Then, divide again 3x squared by x squared. So, we have here 3x squared. This one, divide x squared. So, here, over x squared. Then, 3 divided by 1 is simply 3. Then, x squared divided by x squared is simply 1. Am I right? Dividing by itself is always 1. So, we have here times 1. Then 3 times 1 is simply 3. So therefore, when we divide 3x squared by x squared, the quotient is 3. And then we multiply this 3 by the numerator 2. So 3 times 2 is simply 6. And then, we have now the sum of these two rational expressions. This is our final answer. I hope this is clear. Let's try another example. Let's say 2x over x minus 2 minus 4 over x plus 2. Now our denominator are not the same. It is because the first denominator is in minus and the second denominator is in plus. So they are not totally the same. So again, since we are dealing with subtraction, we have to change first the sign of the subtrahend and then we proceed to addition. So the positive 4 will make it into a negative and then our minus proceed to plus. So now we have to get the LCD of these two denominators. So, we have here, the first is x minus 2, and the second is x plus 2. The factor of x minus 2 is simply 1 times x minus 2. Am I right? Then the factor of x plus 2 is simply 1 times x plus 2. I align 1 since 1 are the same. And then the x plus 2, I will not align it into x minus 2 since they are not the same. So after that, we have to bring down all the factors. So bring down 1 times, bring down this one, x minus 2. Bring down this one, x plus 2. Then we multiply. 1 times x minus 2 is simply x minus 2. X minus 2 times x plus 2 is simply x minus 2 times x plus 2. So this is our new denominator. This is our LCD. So we have here x minus 2, x plus 2. This is now our new denominator. We have to divide this by our denominator, x minus 2, and then we multiply it to the numerator, 2x. So we have now our denominator, x minus 2, x plus 2. We divide this one by our x minus 2. Then, we simply cancel this one since they are the same. So, the remaining is x plus 2. So, x plus 2 times 2x is simply 2x times x plus 2. We simply multiply this term by 2x. That's why we have 2x times x plus 2. And now we have to divide our LCD by this denominator. So, we have x minus 2 times x plus 2 over x plus 2. Then, we have to cancel this one since they are the same. Then, the remaining is simply x minus 2. Then, x minus 2 times negative 4 is simply negative 4 times x minus 2. So, now we have to distribute the terms outside the parentheses. This one, 2x, distribute this one. Meaning we have to multiply 2x by the terms inside the parentheses. The same with this 4. We have to distribute this one. Okay? So, 2x times x is simply 2x squared. 2x times 2 is simply positive 4x. Then, negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Then, copy the denominator, x minus 2, x plus 2. And then, observe, our numerator, this one, our numerator still has a like terms. This one, our 4x and negative 4x. They are like terms, it is because their variable is the same and the exponent is also the same. So, we have to combine. 4x minus 4x is simply 0. Am I right? In subtracting a number by itself, the result is always 0. For an example, 1 minus 1 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. So that means 4x minus 4x is also 0. That's why we cancel this one. So the remaining terms is simply 2x squared, then the constant positive 8. And copy again the denominator x minus 2, then x plus 2. Then, this is not the final answer. It is because our numerator is not in its simplest form. So we have to rewrite first the denominator into its lowest term. So, observe. Are the terms of the numerator both perfect square? No. 2x squared are not a perfect square number. At the same time, 8 is not a perfect square number. So that means we cannot factor this by the difference of 2 squared. We can't use that. But by using common monomial factor, we can factor this numerator. Am I right? There is a common factor between 2x squared and 8. And that is 2. So that means we have to factor out the common factor 2. Then, simply we have here x squared, then plus 4. Am I right? 2x squared is simply 2x squared. 2 times 4 will give us 8. Then copy the denominator, x minus 2 and x plus 2. This is our answer. Simple as that. So, do you know how to add or to subtract rational expressions with different denominators? Very well. Again, in order to add or to subtract the rational expressions with the different denominators, we have to get the LCD of the denominator. And then by getting the LCD, we have to factor the denominator. Then we have to align all the factors. And then we see to it that our numerator and denominator must written into its lowest term. And we have now our final answer. I hope this is now clear. If you have some clarifications, please don't hesitate to chat. And if you want more information regarding with this topic, you can search this online. But you have to be careful because sometimes the process is not correct. So I guess this is now the end of this video. I hope this will help you in doing your activity in your module. So do your best, class. Keep safe and God bless.